Hello everyone, welcome to the second video on Model Context Protocol demo series. In this video, we'll see how to build an MCP server called Network Device Controller, which can run command, get interface details, assign IP address to loopback and delete loopback interfaces. In the first video, we have seen how to build a simple to-do list app, and we have seen how to add that particular MCP server into Cloud Desktop and GitHub Copilot. So we tried adding some tasks into a JSON file using GitHub Copilot and Cloud Desktop. Now in this demo, we'll see how to interact with network devices using an MCP server. For that, I already have a Cisco device available locally. Its IP is 192.168.0.103. Another device is Cisco DevNet device. I'll give the password. So we can access these two devices. This is an XR device and this is XC device. So some commands are different. For example, if you want to save a configuration, we need to give commit here, and here we need to give write. So we'll see how to handle this. We'll go to VS Code. I'll open the terminal here. I'm inside MCP demo new directory, and we'll create a new project here. And earlier we have seen in the documentation, we can use UV init. I'll give UV init network controller, enter. So it has created a directory. I'll get into the directory, network controller. I'll close all the previous files. And here it has created all these files. We don't need main.py. Here first we need to create an inventory file. I will call this device inventory.py. Paste it. It is not mandatory to follow this standard because in my MCP server I'm going to use all these keys. That is why I have given it in this format. You can change the format. If you want to add additional data, you can add even that also here. The reason why I have added device type here, the command is different for iOS-XR and XE. So we are going to have separate tools for interacting with these devices. Here R1 is a Cisco DevNet device and R2 is a local CSR device running in my network. Now I'll create our actual MCP server file. I will call this controller.py. Then first we need to import this. I'll add it here and I'll call this network device controller. Then here we will try to import this inventory into our main MCP file from device inventory import devices. Here we have a dictionary called devices, and within that we have the device credentials. Now if you want to access the credentials, we will create a function here, get credentials, and here we will pass the host name, then return devices dot get host name. Now I'll call d1 equal to get credentials and I'll give r1 print d1. If you want to run this script, we can get into that directory, network controller, and we'll give uv run controller.py. So it is saying that no module named MCP because it is a new environment. And if you look into the pyproject.toml file, we don't have the environment. So we can install that and go to the documentation, and we need to run this command. Sorry, we need to run uv add MCP CLI. So it has added MCP server in the dependencies. Now let us run it again. So this is able to return the device credentials. So if I pass R2, it will be giving the R2 credentials. Later we will be using this inside the device interaction functions. So I'll just comment this. Now we'll create a function for executing a command on the device. I will call this connect and run. Within that we'll pass IP, username, password, and command. Okay, for this we need to import netmiko. I'll give from netmiko import connect handler. Currently we don't have netmiko in the environment. So what we can do, we'll install netmiko uv add netmiko, and we can check even the pyproject.toml file, enter. So it is installed netmiko, but still it is showing as not able to find the library because we are using different interpreter from this directory. Shift command P, and let me just copy this path. Python 3, copy the path. Shift command P, select interpreter, enter interpreter path, paste it, enter. So now it is detecting netmiko. And here I'll add the code for connecting to the device and executing the command. So from this input, I'm creating a dictionary called device. And for netmiko to connect to the device, you need to pass all these details. Device is Cisco IOS. If you want, even you can pass it from your device inventory. Then connect handler, connect to the particular device as net connect. Then within connect handler, we have a method called send command. And within the send command, we'll be sending this particular command. I have many videos on netmiko. You can watch that to understand this logic. That is why I'm not spending much time on all this. So we have D1 now. And here we'll just try to print the output. We will call connect and run. And within that, we need to pass the IP, username, and password. And previously, if you see here, we are getting all these details from get credentials. So now the get credentials variable is D1. So I can give D1. First is IP, then D1 username, D1 password, and finally we need to give a command. I'll give show version. So here we are getting the credentials and passing those credentials to this function. I'll run this. So we're getting the output. Now if you want to get the R2 version, we can run this. So this function is working. I'll comment it. Same like this, if you want to configure a device, you need to pass the list of commands. For that also there is a method in NetMiko. I'll add the code here. So that function we are calling connect and config. Here also we need to pass IP, username, password, and command. So we are creating this dictionary, then connecting to the device using connect handler, then using the send config set, we are configuring the device. Okay, we'll see how to use this as well after creating a tool. Now here I'll add a function for connecting to the device and executing a command using the MCP. And I'm calling this run command. And this is important. You need to give a proper description. Then under CRUDs, I'm just using get credentials. In the host name, we'll be passing the device host name and the command which we need to run. And after connecting to the device, you're passing the CRUDs, IP, username, password, and the commands. This particular function will be helpful if you want to execute a particular show command on a device. Model will be automatically able to trigger this function. So this also we can trigger from here. I'll give print run command, then R2 show IP interface brief. Enter and we'll run the script. So we're getting the output. So it is loading the credentials and executing the command. Now we'll add one more function to get the interface status and run this MCP server using MCP inspect. Add the code here. So here I'm using the decorator, then get interface status and getting the credentials, then passing show IP interface brief command on the device. Now to test this, we will run the MCP inspect. For that we need to give uv run mcp dev controller.py. Enter. I think it is already in use for another server. I'll cancel this. I'll run it again. Okay, now this is having authentication. So I need to copy paste even the token, copy it, go to the browser. So it is showing the command connect tools, list tools, run command. Host name I'll give R2, command give show version, enter. So we're getting the output here. Get interface status, we just need to give only the interface name. I'll give R2, run the tool. So it is automatically executing the command and getting the data. I give R1, so we're getting the data. So this MCP server is running. Now we'll see how to add this into VS Code, GitHub Copilot. Cancel this. Settings, search for MCP, edit in config.json. So there is already a file available. I'll copy this file, paste it here. By default, this file will be empty, or they might add some sample files, but then you can add multiple MCP servers in this format. So now I added this file, network controller, controller.py. And here we need only netmiko library. Click on start. It is running. Now here I'll click on GitHub Copilot and select the agent mode. And I'll give an instruction. Get the interface status of R2. Enter. So you can see here it is triggering the network device controller MCP server. Get the interface status. I'll give continue. So we're getting the interface status. Now I'll give another instruction. Show me only SNMP server specific config of R1 and explain me each line. Enter. Now if you notice here, it is just triggering show running config pipe include SNMP server on R1. Continue. And it is triggering the run command function. The run command, this particular function, it is triggering. And it is able to read the config and give us the explanation of each line. And you can see the SNMP specific config of the device. So it is saying here is a SNMP server specific configuration from R1. Now we'll try to add some more function to it. I'll add a function to get the route details. I'll close this. Yeah. So again, we are just triggering this particular function, connect and run, and passing the credentials and just changing the commands. And we have to give the proper description. Now for assigning IP address to XR and XE, command is bit different. So what I'll do, I'll add separate function for each device connection. So this is for XR. For XR, we need to give commit, and for XE, we don't have to give the commit. We just need to save the config. But in this example, I'm not going to save the config into XE. So we can just skip commit and create another function. There are multiple ways to handle this. This is one of the simplest approach. Now we have 5 functions available here. Go to settings.json and I'll give restart. So we can see here now there are 5 tools available. Open the Copilot and here I'll give get the interface status of R2. So it is giving the details. Now we have already created a function for assigning IP address on XE device, and that is already available here. So I'll give a command assign IP address 200.1.1.1/. 30 on device R2 loopback 1002. So we'll see whether this is going to trigger this particular function. Enter. Okay, so it is able to trigger this function, and it is even deriving the subnet mask from /30, passing the data in a dictionary format. I'll give continue. So it is saying that IP address has been successfully assigned. We can verify that in the device. So we have this interface. Now we'll try to add the code for deleting the interfaces. Close this. I'll copy paste the function. Delete loopback interface XE and delete loopback interface XR. And for XR we are giving commit. And here we are passing the function hostname and interface, and we are giving no interface command, and we're using the function called connect and config, passing the credentials and config commands in list format. Backend, it is using netmiko to connect to the device and using send config set method for configuring the device. Go to settings.json. I'll stop this. Click on start again, and we are using this file, the controller.py. Here I'll give an instruction: get the interface status of R2. Enter. Continue. So here now we have the loopback interface. I'll give delete loopback interface 1002 from R2. Enter. So it is triggering this particular function, delete loopback interface XE. Continue. Now we can check the device config. So it has deleted the loopback interface. In this way, you can create a very simple MCP server to interact with network devices. Now we'll see how to add this into cloud desktop. Go to cloud settings, edit config, open the file. This is cloud desktop config file. I'll copy this path, put it here. You need to put the complete path. And this request is not needed here. We have only netmiko dependency for this particular MCP server. Exit the cloud desktop, open it. And here we can see there are 7 tools available. device R2, enter. So it is triggering this function. But this cloud desktop will have the token limit. After a few queries, you will get a notification saying that exceeded the token usage. But still you can use Copilot also for the testings. So in this video, we have created a project using UV network controller, and inside that we added the device inventory, added the code for the network controller MCP server, and inside VS Code MCP settings we added our network device controller, and we have seen how to interact with the network device using MCP server. Then we added that into the cloud desktop and checked the device config. I hope this video was helpful for you to understand how to create a very simple network controller MCP server. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.